Know that. Hey, StreamYard is working today, folks. It's a Friday. It's a Friday, possibly unlike any other, maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, it is pretty nice here in Atlanta. A little overcast, but it's 70 degrees and it's November the 8th. Uh kind of weird weather, but I'll take it. Anyway, I'm Brent Leary, and it's Friday, it's noon, it's time for the small biz breakdown. And I don't break down by myself. That didn't sound good. Anyway, let me bring out my small biz breakdown crew. Leland McFarland, all the way from Oregon.
Where it is not noon, it is 9.
Is it 70 degrees?
It's nice out. We got the chill autumn air. Autumn air.
I like that. The chill autumn air. I like that. All right. Let's see if there's any chill autumn air in Ohio with even a Taylor.
Hey, gang. It is gorgeous in Ohio. Perfectly autumn. Bright and sunny. The leaves are like glowing.
They're leaving. The leaves are leaving.
The leaves are leaving. And they are glowing, and I'm all for it.
Nice. Well,
yay, football.
Oh, yeah. Yay, football. My Rams are winning, so I can say that with confidence. All right. Going to another part of the country, I believe near the nation's capital. Shashi is joining us today. Hey, Shashi.
Hey, everyone. It's a nice fall weather here. No need of a jacket, which is very rare for November.
Yes. Now, are you in D.C.?
I'm 18 miles from the White House in Potomac, Maryland.
All righty. All right. So we get a glimpse of what's going on in the nation's capital.
Bird's eye view with my drone over there.
There it is. All right. And joining us from my neck of the woods, although I live in a better neck of the woods, it is the bold one, it is the cold one. It is John Coderice Lawson.
Hey.
What's up? Hey.
Anything new? Anything new happening?
Oh, gosh. My personal life is exploding, so I'll just keep it like that.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yes.
But there's a lot of stuff going on, right? I mean, every week there's lots of stuff, lots of things. There's all the things. Isn't that like even it likes to say all the things?
All the things.
All the things are going on. All right. Before we get too heavy into, I don't know what could potentially be a heavy topic. I don't know. I had a question for y'all. It's because I just saw some stats for some things, and I want to make sure I get the right stat here. I saw this stat, and it kind of like blew me away a little bit. It is from the average age of today's home buyer. I don't know if you guys saw this, but if you had to take a guess as to what the average age of today's home buyer is, each of you take a guess. Leland, what would that age be, you think?
34.
34. Okay. All right. 34. Evena.
Oh, I was thinking 38.
38, 34, 38. Mr. Lawson?
Yeah, that was my number, 38.
34, 38, 38, and Shashi.
56. If you're talking about now.
You read it. You're a CNBC watcher, or you read it, or you just got good guessing skills, because it was literally 56, which 56. Completely
marketplace, NPR marketplace.
There, yeah. So last year it was only 49. The average age went up 7 years in 1 year. So, I'm barely old enough to buy a house today, apparently. Now I know John could have bought a mansion or two, or he can
already have, bro. Already
makes sense to me, though, when you really think about it, right? I mean, I don't know if this is the case still, but you've got baby boomers. There are still baby boomers who are retiring out. But I knew that, but I still didn't think that they would be buying, because they're like already in houses. They have great interest rates. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I didn't go that high. I didn't see what the reason was. I'm kind of not surprised because of that demographic mouse eating its way
Oh.
through the snake, so
The
to speak.
demographic mouse. Wow, we got a new mouse.
I'm totally blown away.
Sounds more like a rat, but anyway. 56.
Yeah,
I
that's
can see it
ridiculous.
because, like, people who are baby boomers and they bought their house and now they're getting older and they can't handle the stairs and they don't want to put in the little.
'Cause it's not little; it's big and ugly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't want to do that, so they want a more ranch style home
Yeah.
that's maybe smaller,
Yeah.
doesn't need as much maintenance.
But that's
But is
that's not new. That's always
I don't even
been
think
the
that's
case.
the drive.
What's
I don't think that's the
actually-
driving reason, though, isn't it? That's
What's
not the-
I
Shashi
think there-
read the article.
I'm not
Shashi
reading
read the
There are
article.
3 reasons,
Tess,
I think.
hello? I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not on.
You're
No,
on.
you
We just
are.
don't want to
Go
hear
ahead.
you. But
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I'm gonna work on this. I'll work on something else. Go ahead.
Shashi, I guess you're going to say something.
Yeah, I think there are 3 reasons. There are less number of houses available for what Ivana said, like people are staying in their houses longer. They are not, even after they retire, they are not downsizing, right? Number 2, interest rates are very high. So prices, a lot of people out of the market. Now, the third reason is that there are a lot of people, the jobs are all in big cities, and what we saw during the pandemic, like people going to smaller towns where housing was more affordable, is not there anymore. So it's kind of a hard time for anybody who's not saved enough, right?
John?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're actually overlooking the obvious. The obvious is not the top side. The obvious is there's less people buying on the bottom side. Because when I grew up in the, 90s, like probably
1890s?
about, probably about 3 or 4 times your salary, you could buy your first home, right? So if I'm making 50,000 on my first job or second job, decent money, but I could find a home under 200,000. Today, you probably have to go 5 times your salary. And, by the time I was 30 years old, most of my friends own homes. All of my kids are 30 years old and they don't own homes. Most of them didn't leave the house until after they were 25. We were already married and had kids at 21. I mean, the whole system is definitely different than it used to be before. So I think it's more about less people buying at the early age than it is about more people buying in the older age.
Somebody's in the building, but we don't know who you are because it just says Facebook user.
No,
So
Facebook
let us
users in the building.
let us know, Facebook user. Let us know who you are so we can welcome you appropriately. I can't believe I'm going to say this.
No, you're
I
not.
gotta-
You always say this.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I
you
hate
do.
saying this. I
You
think I
can't
have
help it.
I have to agree. Throwing up a little bit in my mouth. I have to agree with the cold one, the bold one on this one. Look at. I think somebody said. I think he just said the salary. People's salaries aren't increasing. Young folks, they don't even get a salary. They're doing the gig economy stuff, which means they have no benefits, no time off, no 401k to help grow their wealth. And a lot of that is how you are able to get a decent loan. And so if you aren't able to get a decent loan at a decent rate because you don't have steady income, because you have this gig economy income, you don't have anything to actually take to the bank anymore to get a loan of decent size. And of course, like he was saying also, the average price of a decent place, I mean, come on. You can't even find a decent place. I live in Atlanta. I live like in the metro Atlanta, out in the sticks. When I first got here, I saw like cattle and like, people riding horses. I even saw like a llama, something like that. So, and you could buy a house like the house I bought. It was barely 200,000 25 years ago. You ain't going to find anything like this now. So if you can't find a decent priced house and you can't get a decent loan with a rate or even any loan because you don't have the financials to even take to a bank to get a loan, I think this is why the vast majority of the reason why it's jumping 7 years in one year from 49 to 56. Jeez, what's next year going to be? You got to be on like Social Security to get a house?
Hey, let's ask everybody this game. What's the average median home price?
Oh, I don't know. It's a good. Well, I mean, like just
Well, give me a guess. Give me a guess.
Across the whole U.S.
Across the whole U.S.
Ooh.
That's tough because you got like
That's okay.
bigger
It's
cities
average.
with like huge prices, and then rural
Yep.
stick areas where you could buy something really cheap. So I would
I
probably
think it's
go
like 400.
400.
I'm going to go out there.
400.
Wow, 400. That's
Uh,
steep.
I'll actually give you two things. One of them is a guess. The average family income has actually gone up to 84,000, but the average home is probably about 140,000 across the US.
140. I would say maybe a little higher than that.
Maybe or 300. So that's the
Okay,
guess.
that'd be a better guess. I'm gonna let you go again. That's a closer bet. So here's the crazy thing, right? Leland was almost right there. The median home sales price in the United States is 420,000.
Whoa.
Okay, but watch this.
The beam.
In 2020, it was 337,000. So that's a 25% increase in 4 years. That's the crazy part.
Can I give you an even crazier part? And maybe we could probably move on. But I don't know how many of you are like in a 401k or some kind of investment thing. But I was looking at mine the other day. One of my accounts, probably the biggest one I have. In just a little over a year, like I went back to October 28th because for 2023, because for some reason that date stood out to me because I think there was a big drop in my account. So I was like, okay. So I went back to that. So that's just a little over a year. From that day until now, my that account has grown by over 60%.
60%.
60% in just 1 year.
Damn.
I want to hear
I need to
that.
see
You
what
invested well.
Yeah,
Well,
let's see
but I
what
said
you're
that-
invested in.
I said that I tell no tales here. I said that because
Is that
you know-
stock market?
yes, that's one of my
All
investments.
NVIDIA.
What?
Oh yeah, you're
it is
talking about
well, no, I'm not talking about one stock. I'm just saying my whole
the
one
whole portfolio.
yeah, that whole portfolio in that particular account.
Yeah. Does
But
that have
most of these,
NVIDIA in it?
of course it does. But
Oh,
what
okay.
I'm
Well, see, I'm just saying that's an outlier.
No,
So
well,
that makes sense.
but you take that out, and it still would be like a 30% over a year.
I think that's probably about average. That's
So think about that. Most of these younger folks who are trying to buy a house, they don't have that because they're not invested in those kind of things. So they aren't able to fully take advantage of what we've been able to take advantage. And that's why the average age is going up, like I guess so dramatically, because older folks like us have investment portfolios because we had jobs that allowed us to get those at one point. These kids are coming out in the economy, going straight to the gig economy, and ain't no benefits. There ain't no 401k. They got to pay for their health insurance. They don't get no vacation. And that's why they're not able to buy the houses that we're talking about, apparently. Wow, I thought this was going to be a little throw off. But let's say hello to all the folks here. Because I think the original Facebook user, y'all are on early. No, this is oh, wait. Okay. So me and John do our show at 5:00. This is a whole other show. Okay.
I shared it today.
Oh, okay. You shared it. Freddie. So Freddie was one of those folks, and Sean was another one of those. We got a lot of Facebook users. So yeah, we'll be back on 5, but we're doing our small biz breakdown thing here. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Damn, that was longer than I was expecting. All right, so I want to go to this thing here because the deep conversation I'm going to hold off till later. All right, so
I wonder what the heck could be.
We're going to keep it light here for the time being here. All right, so this is kind of related to the election, but not the election itself. All right, so this stunned me. I was just finding I get a lot of stuff coming out my way, and somebody sent me this. So on election night, YouTube drives 67 million hours of election viewership as network ratings plunge. And I'm telling you, like, there are things like Midas Touch. I don't know if we talked about this last week. I know John and I did, but this is like a completely YouTube driven digital channel that I had never heard of, like at the beginning of this year. And it, on average, and we're not even talking about the election day coverage, which I know is killer, as you can see, they get more views from their YouTube channel than Fox News does.
Wow.
I mean,
Then Fox News and CNN combined.
well, no, I don't know if it's
Was it not combined? No,
No,
Okay.
I think you're talking about the engagement, but
Oh,
the
okay,
actual
yeah,
total
that
number
for
of views.
sure. Okay.
Yeah. And just to kind of, they get, I think there's 9 million views to Fox News's 8 million views, but Fox has 12 million subscribers to their YouTube channel. Midas Touch, 3 million, 3.3 million. So it's 4-1 in terms of subscribers, but they are getting 1 million more views per day. That's per day. And also 540 likes compared to 540,000 likes compared to 240,000 likes. So they're getting more views and they're getting way more engagement. I didn't add up the number of comments, but I know the comments are even crazier. So are we seeing, is this kind of just, we've passed the torch here? Like, what's driving people's attention and what people are going to for, I'm not going to say news, I'm going to say views and opinions, is completely gone now. What we all grew up with CNN and all these kind of cable news, has that already gone by the wayside? Because now it's about YouTube channels from people that we never knew about a year ago, and now they've completely got our attention, and now they are the ones, the driving forces for how we take in kind of important in content at this point. What do you guys think?
I actually wrote a LinkedIn post maybe a couple of days back on 54% or more of people are actually getting their news on YouTube and Facebook. So on the other side, the largest amount of time that people are spending in the US are also YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Reddit. So what you said, Brent, is becoming true. People have removed their cable, so they only have streaming, which means they don't have any of the live TV channels anymore. So, I mean, especially if you're thinking about advertising, I think these are still stronger viewership, and your number clearly shows that, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I think, even myself, I didn't have cable because I'm at my mom's house. So I was not able to do that, but I had my laptop, of course, and I had YouTube TV, and I went between some, regular CNN type coverage and then went to the web. And when I was on the web, there were so many different places you can go. And it was very tailored to my needs. And that's what I think is really important at this point.
Well, I think that there's just an element of convenience, because when you have traditional TV, I mean, even think of like HBO. If I want to watch a movie on a traditional HBO, I have to wait until 10 o'clock to be able to find that movie and then watch it. Or I could go to HBO Max and just stream it, and I could get it right now. And that's kind of what I see with the difference with these news organizations. I could go to a traditional like 24-hour news cycle and then wait until the news that I want, that's important to me, comes up and watch it. Or I could go to YouTube and click on the, do a quick search on the news topic that I'm wanting, and it's there. It just pops up and I don't have to wait.
Yeah, but that I get, but what he just said is that they were watching election coverage. So that's live now, which is completely kind of a new thing to me.
But it's bringing in people that have changed their habits.
Yeah.
Because I grew up with traditional news, and I'm that zennial, and went into the digital era. and I'm still like, I can't just go to. First of all, I don't have cable anymore. I cut it. It's gone because it's just too much of a commercials. I don't want the commercials. And it's just more convenient to just pop it up on YouTube and start watching it that way.
Yep.
Crazy.
Even
I don't know. I don't want to say demographics again, but I mean, I have a Gen Z in the house who has pretty much always watched YouTube, never watched television like the box. He has a television, but his information, entertainment, and news all comes from like streaming. But what I think is fascinating for those of us that have been digital is we used to call YouTube a search engine, and it's still a search engine, but this was like from years ago. And now I wonder how much of it is that this audience doesn't want to like move from app to app, right? Like I know, all I can say is I know my son is watching movies, shows, documentaries, all these things. He is primarily watching on YouTube. So it wouldn't surprise me if there is that level of like not going from app to app. Like I get frustrated if I want to watch a particular show that I might have heard of, and now I have to go looking for it to see where can I see this show. And now I'm searching Prime, searching Netflix, searching Paramount. You see what I mean? Whereas, you know, if you have, I don't know, John, you said you have YouTube TV. Does that have like everything in it? Like you can just stay in that one place?
It's like cable, but you pay a subscription to YouTube for the cable. So,
but you're not hopping. Are you hopping from app to app?
No, it's all in one app. Yeah.
See, I mean, I think there's something to that because I think there's like almost too much decentralization for my taste. Like I'm annoyed. I'm tired. I want to watch what I want to watch. So.
well, I have YouTube TV, but it doesn't. You can't get certain things on that, just like you can't get certain things with any one of these things. Actually, absolutely. So, but one thing is nice about YouTube TV, they have these multi-view things, so you could literally watch. Like I use it for football. You could watch 4 different football games at a time, which is kind of hard to do anywhere else at this moment.
You can watch 4 different news channels too.
You can watch, yeah. They have multi-views for news and entertainment,
financial,
yeah.
All of
But
that.
I will say the other thing about what's going on with people watching YouTube. One of the things that drew me to that, I guess, that has drawn me in, because I didn't go like willingly or knowingly, it just happened, which is telling you how good those algorithms are. Every time I come to YouTube, your homepage has a lot of recommendations based on the stuff that you've watched before. And so I will see a lot of things, a lot of people posting clips of stuff. So I don't necessarily listen to the influencers, but I use them as filters. And so they will filter out for me like clips. I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that. And they'll like try to do their commentary and then show the clip. I'll just go fast forward right to the part of the thing that really drew me in. I'm like, oh, now that's interesting. And then when they start talking again, it's like, I'm out because I don't want to hear their commentary. I don't want to. They are a filter for me. They are not a source of information or a source of views or opinion. I'm just wanting the clip because I don't want to have to find the clip or watch a 30, 60-minute thing. I'm using these folks. They're like the best thing that ever happened for me from a content creator perspective is they are my filters. They are not my content. So maybe there's something to do with that. All right, let's move on. Man, this is some good stuff. I like that. All right.
Hey, can I make one suggestion real quick?
Do you have to?
If you are, because if you are a business owner, this is a statistic you really need to pay attention to.
Right. Before you do that, let's bring in Monique.
Hey,
Monique.
Hey.
Monique, you got here just in time to hear, the cold one, the bold one say something. Lucky you.
Well, I'm just thinking, I mean, I don't think enough small business owners really look at YouTube advertising as an option. And even having your own channel that's filled with information about your company. People are on this medium more and more and more, and you have the ability to be a direct, channel for your customers. You start thinking about those opportunities with advertising and with creating your own content. It's really important now.
One last thing I'll say is I think as people who watch content or people that have watched shows or whatever it is, we've always wanted it to be more like this than it was back in the day. Like back in the day, we only had like what 4 choices, and you couldn't participate. You could just watch. And what YouTube has done is not only do we, watch, but now we create our own shows and we have our own opinions we want to share. And I think that is the biggest difference between what we grew up with. Maybe not Monique because she's a youngin, but I think everybody in our age bracket, we were forced to do forced to watch these channels, forced to watch these shows, forced to talk about it at the water cooler at work and not share our opinions with a broader audience. Now all that has happened, and as you can see by these numbers, 67 million hours in one night for election coverage on YouTube. Yep. And that's just on YouTube. That's not on anything else. That's amazing to me. All right. Sean, hey, Sean. Yeah, Sean, you connect with Facebook user when you get a chance. So we're happy to help you guys connect. All right. I got another stat for you guys before we get heavy. Okay. Yeah, I keep on kind of pushing off the heavy thing. I think it's gonna get heavy. All right. So there was a study by the folks over at Gemini around what percentage of companies are investing in not just AI, Gen AI stuff. So I would love for you to take a guess as to what percentage of companies, and this is a global study, it doesn't get into the small or large or anything, just the overall number of what percentage of companies increased their generative AI spending over the past year.
100?
74?
Any guesses? So 100, 74, 100? Shashi, don't be looking. I see you're trying to find it.
No, I'm not.
Monique, you got a guess for us?
I'll say 200.
200%? 200% of the company?
No. I'm gonna say maybe 80%.
Anybody else got a guess?
60.
All right, Monique, 80%, huh? 80%. Okay, let's see what we got here. 80%. 80%.
You get $100.
Yeah.
All right, where's my $100?
You got to get it from Bob. You got to get it from Bob Barker.
Yeah, Bob.
Yes.
When you hit it on the number.
I would love to see you get it from Bob Barker, by the way. Anyway, the uptake in investment is 80% of companies increase their generative AI spending. Only 20% maintain the same levels. No surprises here, huh?
No.
Nobody's shocked at this point, huh?
No, not shocking at all.
But what percentage of small business do you think are doing that?
I mean, there's an AI budget level for everybody. I mean, you can get started with AI for free. So I think all budget levels have this spend to do more AI.
Okay. All right. One more softball before we amp things up a bit. I don't know if this is a big deal or not. I think it's a big deal. So Google just announced recently, wow, this is just yesterday, their AI video maker is rolling out to most workspace tiers. So Google's, I guess this is to combat, what's that thing that ChatGPT OpenAI is putting out? What's it, Solar or something like that? I forget the name of that video generation tool.
Sora,
yeah. So Google is coming out with their video maker, maybe to try to stand off what's going on with OpenAI. How big a deal is this? Google creating an AI video maker, not editor. This is creating video from generative AI stuff. How big a deal is this to, let's say, just to the small business, to you guys personally? Do you see this as a big deal to you guys?
I think it's a matter of thinking about, the world of YouTube, and Google owns YouTube. So it's like having their hand in both of those platforms for search, for search rankings. People go to YouTube not only to be entertained, but to learn stuff. So if Google is making it a way for people to create videos and using AI or to make it easier, maybe this is their way of getting people for YouTube to even grow even more, even though YouTube is so large today. So I think it potentially it could be a pretty big deal. However, as we talked about in previous episodes, when it comes to projects with Google, it's kind of like, they might just leave it. If it's not performing the way they would like, they might just drop it. So it'll be interesting to see.
Anybody else have any thoughts?
What was the question?
Is this a big? Are you here?
I am. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Google. Matter of fact, I shared this.
I
with you
got
yesterday.
that part. I got that part. What was the question about?
No. How important is this to you personally? And do you think small businesses will be able to take full advantage of something like this?
Okay.
To stand out, to be a big impact.
Not really, not yet. I think it's going to be something neat, a little shiny object, and as it gets out there, I think people are going to find ways, to actually find business use cases. I think right from the beginning, it'll be more of something for independent, small business folks to play around with, more so than something big. We'll see, though.
Even is this a potential marketing gem for small businesses to use?
I'm sure that it could be. One of the things that's at least that I've discovered for myself, and I see in my community a lot, is when new things come out, some people gravitate toward it. So like I really gravitated to the content and text content creation of AI, whereas Leland and the Small Biz Trends team, they really had lots of strength in generating images. I'm really not that good at generating images. I have messed around with the videos, and I found it to be difficult. So having said that, there are dozens of video tools out there that you can use. So I think to Monique's point, Google has jumped into this game, and that's very well and good. There's just like people liked Blab and now it's gone, and people liked Google Hangouts and now it's gone. People are going to like this AI video, and it may be gone too. I don't know. And maybe some of those features that people like might be absorbed with some other more popular AI video tools. It's a big unknown.
Yeah. Brent, I think this is good for people who want to explain to their customers how to do something instead of just a PDF file. This is an easy way for them to put some educational content. But I would caution, to Ivana's point, I would caution people from jumping into these new tools without having a use case. Like most of these top AI companies are playing catch up between who's releasing a new feature and then somebody else is repeating the same thing. You should use something that's very personal to you and you're paying for it.
Those are some great points, actually. Yeah, I tend to think, God, I can't believe I got to do this again, but yeah, I agree with Colder Ice. Sad to say that. Damn it.
Wow.
But what I see, and I think there's like a pathway or a kind of a way that this stuff plays out. A lot of people get so interested in, it's great, great videos, and they start doing it, and I agree with Sashi. They just jump in, and just because they can do it, and they start creating like videos with purple calves or something like that, and they absolutely make no damn sense, but it's so easy to do that they do it for a while. And then we get deluged with all sorts of nonsense video crap, and then it doesn't lead them to anything, so they stray away from it. And then we kind of get back to whatever the normal line is. and I'm good with that because I don't need any more crappy videos, to be quite honest with you. I don't need more stuff that gets in my way from the real good stuff. And I can see this being a case because anytime you make it easier for somebody to do stuff that, maybe there is a good reason why it was hard for them to do it. And now they don't have those obstacles in front. So now they can churn out all sorts of crap. And then we're the ones that suffer from it in the end. I hate to be the negative, but that's kind of the way I feel. Like there's a lot of people posting ridiculous stuff now that's text-based or image-based. I don't see what the net positive out of all that, but that's just me. Leland, you got a smallbiztrends.com. You guys are content personified. Is this a big deal for you from your perspective?
I'll probably take a look at it. I'll see what kind of videos it can create, and if it can create videos quickly, cheaply, and effectively that are actually of good quality, and it's easy to actually like manipulate. You don't have to take, you don't have to like really word your like I've worked with some of these image generation, and it's like you have to be very careful about what you're saying, what kind of parameters you're putting in, styles and stuff like that, or else it will just give you utter garbage, and then you've wasted some money on like credits or whatever, and you're like, oh, crap. But if it's like, okay, well, this is costing me like $20 to get a video because I have to keep redoing it because it keeps messing it up, then it might be like, well, I don't know.
I want to add to what Leland said, and also Ian, who's in the audience, right?
Yep.
As far as search engine optimization is concerned, unless you already have published this content and then you want to make it easier for visitors by creating audio and video out of the already published original content, I would advise against using AI-generated content as original. 2 reasons. If you put an AI-generated image on LinkedIn, there's automatically a mark. If you're using Meta to generate an image, there's automatically a mark that it was AI generated, which I think is good because it prevents any like deep fakes and things like that. So you have to think of original content about your small business, your products, your customer stories, and then figure out ways to publish it in multiple channels, whether you use AI or otherwise, right? So don't just ask AI a question and then publish it. It's going to be the same as another million people doing the same thing.
See, and that's why most people who use these things, their goal is not to create great content. It's the goal to get stuff out the door because they think just by getting it out there that's going to benefit them or get them the kind of deal and they're not going to take the time to do all the stuff that you're talking about. They're just saying, oh, I can use this thing and get stuff out real quick without a lot of money and a lot of hassle. Oh, I'm going to do that. And then we're the ones stuck with all this nonsense. I'm sorry. I'm a bit passionate about this stuff. I can't help it. I hate bad stuff. Anyway. All right. I guess it's time. So, I see, look who's getting all wound up over there. All right. So we all know what happened this week. We had an election. We're going to have a administrative change in 2025. And I want to play this clip from, I forget what show it was, but it's about the clip kind of sets the stage for, I think, an interesting discussion. So this is how the tech community views what will happen in 2025 when the new administration comes in. And then we're going to have a conversation on the other side. So let's check this out.
The new Trump administration may offer more than just cash benefits for Silicon Valley and the future of tech. ABC 7 News South Bay reporter Dustin Dorsey explains how things could change come January.
If the Bay Area was its own country, it would be the 17th largest in the world. And as the home of talent, innovation, and technology, Silicon Valley would be the driving economic force. Experts are hopeful that its role could become even greater with the Trump presidency. Jim Wunderman is the president and CEO of the Bay Area Council.
I think a lot of folks in Silicon Valley are really hopeful that this will be a new day for them. And we need to help technology all we can.
Chris Farmer is the CEO of Signal Fire, a venture capital and technology firm based in San Francisco. He says right now, antitrust laws, higher taxes, and over-regulation are stifling innovation, especially in the still growing field of AI. Last year, President Joe Biden signed an executive order that placed guardrails around AI development. While not providing details, Trump has promised to dismantle that framework on day one. And Farmer believes that Trump administration could help clear regulatory hurdles, especially for startups.
With clarification of regulation and what can and can't be done with AI, with open source models, all those types of things, that helps the whole ecosystem know where it's okay to play ball and where it's not.
Lower regulatory burdens for companies could also allow for more of them to go public easier, unlocking a financial benefit.
It allows companies to get access to the public markets from a capital standpoint to fuel this growth, but it also allows the public to participate in a way that I think is critically important.
Wonderman says growth in a lot of national investments like the CHIPS Act has slowed in California. It's harder to build and expand, so companies leave. Both Wonderman and Farmer hope for stronger ties with a Trump White House.
I think we have to figure out ways to work with this administration best we can, and it won't always be maybe what we would hope it to be, but in a lot of ways, it could turn out to be very positive.
A benefit for Silicon Valley and the country.
All right. There's a lot there. I just wanted to focus on.
There's a lot of speculation there.
Well, this is the hope, I think, of not just Silicon Valley, but all right, tech industry overall, because one of the things that they talked about, dismantling regulation and making it easier for in certain ways for small businesses or all businesses to kind of operate. But all that they were saying was really about Silicon Valley and the tech industry. And I wanted to know what you guys thought it meant for the overall small business community. Let's say some of those things come true, like the lowering or dismantling of regulation. Probably a good thing, generally speaking, but not all the way, because if we're also looking at how they treat AI, is it really good that there's not going to be any regulation or little regulation or tech bro kind of driven AI regulation? Because that's kind of how they're viewing it. Is that a good thing for small businesses, generally speaking, mom and pops? If there is no kind of guardrails on AI, and it's in a small group of people's hands to kind of do what they will with AI, is that a good or bad thing for small businesses, generally speaking?
I can go if you like. Just like Google started off with a search engine and now it gets a lot of money from advertising. This is a hook for small businesses to get so used to AI, and then the prices go up. I mean, today, if you're going to search for something very silly on ChatGPT, you're probably burning up enough fuel for one house to use electricity for one house to use in a month, right? People want to hook you in, even though it's very expensive for you. And then once you're fully committed to using AI, the prices are going to go up. So you have to really think about what you're substituting when you use AI, is my view.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't worry. Look, the stated goal with AI is to lower the cost. Matter of fact, the NVIDIA guy, I can't think of his name.
Jensen Huang.
My
guy, Jensen. I love Jensen.
So, I mean, he's like, our desire is to drive the cost down to nearly zero, right? So I don't see AI or investing in AI to be something that you're going to have to worry about the cost of it being too expensive, or it's like, what you get out of it versus what you're paying for it even today and way in the future is, I think you're going to see great return on investment. Because as it grows, it's going to get cheaper and cheaper to implement. And without a lot of these regulations, it's going to be easier for small businesses to get access to smaller LLM models that they're going to be able to train, house, and use on their own systems. So I do see some benefits there. You know, what I do have some concern about is, you know, the buddy relationship between, yeah,
You can name names.
okay, well, you know, I mean, you know, Elon and Trump being together, and I know where Elon's mind is at when it came to what happened with his split with OpenAI, and now it's going to look like, you know, there will be rails, but I think the rails will be led by one guy that's already got his finger on the scale, which will be Elon, and that's going to be very interesting. So if you ever watch the Spider-Man movie, you can understand what Elon looks like, because he's kind of like the Spider-Man villain. We'll just wait for it. It's coming.
I think Sam Altman might be a bit nervous.
I think a lot of people are probably going to be a bit nervous, you know. And then you put on top of what he just did with the NVIDIA chips, which is insanity, not in a bad way, in a good way, but to bring online one of the biggest installations of chips, AI
in like
chips,
a couple of days.
in days, which even NVIDIA said it would have taken them 2 to 3 years to do. He did it in like 19 days.
Yep.
I'm telling you, man, the future is about to be, it's about to, whew, I don't know. But,
Can I react to that?
get interested. What'd you say, Shashi?
I said, can I react to what John said?
Yeah, please.
Oh, absolutely.
So John said something that I think I wholeheartedly agree. Like small businesses should not go to these large LLMs and try to do something as simple as, let's say, scanning a receipt, right, into their system. They should use a small model that knows what a receipt is and only does the job. That'll be much cheaper than going to an LLM. The second thing is, I think XAI's Grok model is actually a dark horse, meaning the public doesn't have access to it unless you buy a premium account in X. But having used it is really powerful. And I think they will be able to offer that at some point. And in my opinion, buying X or Twitter was just a way to create learning data for his AI company, right? And now he's got a slight advantage. However you look at it, I think the next 4 years, businesses can expect XAI to be a good player.
Agreed.
So I live in an area where I'm just a stone's throw away from a bunch of Amazon facilities. And last time I counted, there's probably about 16 or so Amazon data centers in my area. Okay. And it takes a lot of power. My power bill has gone up a bit because demand in the area is gone up. And recently they just announced that another company, and I cannot remember what it is, but in a town just about an hour away from where I live, they're going to do another data center build that's even bigger than what Amazon's doing. They're going to do about another 16 large Amazon or data centers, and that's the huge power consumption. But on top of that, they're wanting to build micro nuclear reactors and place them throughout the area, kind of like, and they're going to be towers. So they're going to be kind of like windmills. We already got windmills, but little micro nuclear reactors to be able to power all of these data centers. And so it's very interesting being in an area where they are, where huge data influx in like tech jobs and data centers and stuff like that. And then to respond to that, to do micro nuclear reactors. And I think even Google said that they were going to build 6 nuclear reactors in order to be able to power their data centers. So it is definitely a change in the landscape. And yeah, there's going to probably be some deregulation to try to help streamline some of this construction, because if not, it could take decades to be able to catch up. And that would be my fear, is that if all of a sudden it takes too long, they build those data centers quick, but if they can't get the power to be able to build those data centers, the demand on power grids is just going to be so huge that all of a sudden we as the consumer, our energy bill is going to go through the roof, because there's a huge demand on all that power.
I'm gonna put this up. I think it's important to see this in full view if I can get it there. This is what John was talking about. It took him 19 days to do what Jensen is saying usually takes 4 years. I think that's the positive side. I mean, you have the ability I go back to myself here. You got the ability to do some incredible things because less regulation allows you to do that. But I also think less regulation puts the hands of a lot of important stuff in the very few hands. And some of those hands can be very unstable. And someday they wake up mad and say, I don't like what you just said. I'm not going to give you access to all this stuff that I control myself, because there's no regulation to thwart somebody to take all these great things and use them and treat them like they're their personal items. It's a very kind of scary situation to be in, when all this powerful stuff is in the hands of very few folks, and they can do or say or treat it like anything else. I don't know. I see very good and very bad consequences from certain things, and AI enhances that kind of feeling because it's so powerful, and it's able to do things like build things in 19 days that take 4 years. I mean, that's good and bad. I'm not so sure that the good necessarily outweighs the bad in some of this stuff, but that's just me. What are you guys thinking?
I'm gonna jump in here on something we hadn't really talked about. One is getting into the specifics of regulations, why we have regulations. For example, what is the purpose of regulations? And in a lot of ways, I like to, and regulations, while having fewer regulations, can bring in an influx of new entrepreneurs and new businesses, because there's a much less barrier to entry into doing something, and we like that. But on the other hand, there are costs to low regulations, whether that is a cost in terms of safety, like Leland was talking about, like power plants and those kinds of things, physical safety of the community. But then there's other kinds of safeties too. When it comes to AI, we probably can't even comprehend the kinds of court cases that might come up, the ways people could ultimately be hurt. I can't even imagine. I don't know. It's just been my impression. Like, for example, when we had the financial crisis in 2008, that occurred because a lot of regulations that used to be in place were no longer there. So while on the one hand, we might think in the overall economic system that taking away regulations takes away cost and makes things cheaper, you're going to pay with it. You're going to pay for it in one way or another. And I think I would love to look at some of these regulations the way we look at the Fed and interest rates, and sort of aim for this soft landing, aim for like this more of a balanced look about what's good for small business, what's good for innovation, and what's good for the community as a whole, what's going to make our lives better, safer, easier.
Monique, any thoughts?
I liked what Ivana said. However, my thing about when it comes to like the government and regulations in regards to the digital world, they have no idea what we are talking about. Even till this day, like they don't, if they ever call in Zuckerberg and, just anyone, you can tell when they're asking questions, they're scripted, but more so the way that they refer to the platform or whatever, they have no clue. So now we're talking about AI, which is the Wild Wild West right now. A lot of people still don't know what it is, what it can do. And I feel like it's just a small population of us that actually kind of know what we're talking about. And then you're bringing the government into it.
Props, Monique. I am 110% with you on that one. Because it is comical when you're watching some of these hearings.
Yes.
You know.
And I'm not saying I'm against regulation, but at the same time, and maybe this is me talking to the government, hire the people that know what they're talking about and have them coach you or have them speak on your behalf, because I just feel like this is also just an opportunity for the government to be taken advantage of, because they don't know what's really happening right now. They're still playing catch up. And so that's just my only kind of spiel there. It's just like, when I hear regulation in regards to the digital world or the digital component of what we're talking about, I'm just like, I always start to cringe. I mean, even like my dad, he's obsessed with MSNBC, right? Which that is primarily like in the financial world. But I find it hilarious when they start talking about stuff happening on the digital marketing or AI side. And I'm like, you guys have no idea what you all are talking about. And and I'm trying to tell my dad or people his age group, they're soaking it all in thinking, and I'm just like, no, they are telling you the wrong thing here. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. I say that to say, I just feel that there needs to be extra careful steps taken when it comes to this stuff. That's all.
Yeah, we're going to have to wrap this up because Shashi's got to drop off and we're getting close to the top of the hour. I'll just say, Monique, you don't have to worry about that because Trump has Elon Musk and he's going to tell Trump exactly what's going on and also give him the bill for all the stuff he's going to sell him. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's good and it's bad. I mean, at least he's got somebody at the table that actually was there at the early invention of this thing.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Sam Altman is going to feel real good about Elon.
Yeah, I know. Sam's got to be like, damn it.
Yeah. All right, so we got to roll. You have a party. Shashi, do you have a parting thought you want to leave us with before we get out of here?
Yeah, I think stay calm and carry on. Spend your money wisely.
And that's our financial message from Shashi. All right. Thanks, Shashi. Let's see who else. Mr. Lawson, you got any parting thoughts?
Man, invest your time and your money.
What the hell is this CNBC all of a sudden?
I mean, but seriously, bro, but yeah, it's about to take off because a lot of the regulation and the rails are going to get released. So get ready.
Release the hounds. Anyway.
Yeah.
Monique.
I know I jumped on late as usual. I promise, guys. I've done one episode where I've been through the whole time, but
we're not keeping track.
My parting words is, I know this week has been emotional for a lot of people, and it's going to be emotional leading into next year. So just have grace, be patient, and try not to react emotionally to things. That's all I have to say.
You could have said stay calm too, because that's been a theme for the whole show. Anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, stay calm. There you go.
Leland.
Yeah. The election happened. Stuff happens. He's already been in office once and the world didn't end. So don't think that it's just going to all of a sudden blow up. But do your best. Keep your nose to the grindstone and focus in on you, and you'll do wonderful.
And stay calm.
Stay calm.
Just want to throw that in there. Eva, did we get you usually give us the mic drop party?
I guess I'll do the mic drop. I think what's really fascinating about elections, election results, and all of that is how important it is to listen to what the numbers are telling you, right? Like you might think you know how it's going to go, but you never know how it's going to go. So look at the numbers, get underneath the numbers, understand your customers. I think I mentioned last week, I just finished up my DIY marketers tipping point survey. And one of the really cool things that I saw that those of us who were involved in the Small Bizfluence event should rejoice and be happy about. Something like a preponderance of people said that keeping customers and making money from existing customers was their number one priority for 2025. I think that's outstanding. I want to salute that to all of our small business owners. What that means for 2025 is get to know your customers and what really matters to them, because they might not be telling you.
Ooh.
Once again, does not disappoint. Like you said,
Mic
Brent.
drop.
Mic drop.
There you go. I will just say that join me in the cold one, the bold one, John Colorice Lawson at 5 this afternoon, where I school him some more. You know, we get back to our regular routine. He's going to have to get some learning. Anyway, we will see you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Have a great week, and we will see you then.